morning, folks, and welcome to another early morning edition of Post Game Notes with the Sticks in the Six host, your host, Andrew Forbes. Full transparency, we're going to keep it short this morning, I guess. Following a Game 2 win in overtime by our beloved Toronto Maple Leafs and Max Domi scoring that overtime winner, I'm fighting something. I'm fighting something. The change in the weather here in London. It's I got my Neo Citron. It's early morning. Just trying to grind it out. Just trying to grind it out. We had a good turnout for game one's post game notes, so I figured I'd do it again. Especially another big W for the Maple Leafs in Game 2. They get it done 3-2. Max Domi again, as you can see with the title of this episode, Max Domi reaches hero status in Toronto, donning that Maple Leaf. Before we get into all of it, though, a lot of excitement surrounding this game. It was pretty clear early on that Anthony Stolars was going to get the start again. The way he played in Game 1 really held the team in there. And once again, we saw that in Game 2. He gave up a couple goals. The team kind of shut down after going up 2-0. But all in all, another valiant effort by the big goaltender for the Maple Leafs. What else can we say? It's exciting to see that the Leafs are up 2-0 heading back to Ottawa. They maintain home ice advantage going into Game 3, so that's always a big part of winning that division was the fact that they get home ice advantage, the fact that they can take those first two, hopefully go into Ottawa up 2-0, which is exactly what they're going to do. As I mentioned, Max Domi with his first of the playoffs. A little dipsy doodle inside the line, and really Simone Benoit's first overtime shift in God knows how long, but he was the fabricator of this play. He was the one who got into the offensive zone, dropped it back to Max Domi, and then of course Max Domi got a little bit lucky, let's say, getting the puck through a couple of opposing sticks there at the Ottawa line, and obviously got that shot away and got it done. So, big night for Max Domi, big night for the Maple Leafs. They go up 2-0 in the series. One of the few series where we have a clear idea of one team being up 2-0 in games. Worth noting that Max Domi is the 8th player to score a home playoff OT goal since the team moved from Maple Leaf Gardens in 1999. And if you hold on here, I have the list. It's actually a pretty crazy list of players who have scored a home playoff overtime winner. So he joins the likes of Tyler Bozak in 2017, Travis Green, now coaching the Ottawa Senators, in 2003. Thomas Caberlet also did it in 2003. Gary Roberts in 2002. Corey Cross, there's a name for you, in 2001. Steve Thomas in 2000, and Yannick Perreault in 1999. And of those 8 goal scorers, 4 of them have come against Ottawa at home, including Domi, Roberts, Cross, and Steve Thomas back in 2000. So some pretty crazy names to join for Max Domi. Obviously a huge moment for him. His dad in the crowd, always a bonus. For those of you just joining, make sure you hit the subscribe on YouTube. Make sure you follow along for more Sticks in the Six content throughout the year, throughout the off season. Really, like Peter and I go all season long, all year long. We have a lot of great content. We got another big show, live show tomorrow afternoon. We're gonna welcome Alex Hobson back onto the show from his Rockstar tour. So we're excited about that. But yeah, really a fundamental game tonight, a fundamental game. And we can get into all the hype and all the debate surrounding this series and Game 1 and the officiating and Ottawa Senators fans saying that it just isn't fair. It just isn't fair. We're not getting the calls. But game two came around. Ottawa got 3 power plays. Toronto was left with 1 power play. So Travis Green's comments post game one, I guess were heard by the officials. You can make arguments, and I've had this debate with multiple people online that Anthony Stolarz certainly could have been called multiple times on the Ridley Gregg roughing in front of the net, the blocker to the back, the cross check to the back, the body check, which was for a goaltender one hell of a body check. But it goes back to game one and knowing that I don't think anybody's stupid enough to think that Ridley Gregg didn't mean to run into Anthony Stolarz. And if you did, I mean, go back and watch it. And if you're an Ottawa fan, you're going to sit there and say, well, he didn't mean to. He lost his footing. I'm going to call bullshit on that. I think you need to really give your head a shake if you think that he didn't mean to go into Stolarz that hard. Ridley Gregg is a shit disturber. That's his job. That's his goal, is to be a rat, and he's done exactly that in the first 2 games. And I applaud him. I applaud him for playing that role. It's not an easy role. We've seen Brad Marchand do it for years. We've seen Matthew Tkachuk do it for years. Hell, we've seen Brady Tkachuk do it for years. So Ridley Gregg knows exactly what he's doing when he goes to the net that hard. The contact was not incidental. It was without a doubt on purpose, and I think that's why you saw the officials give Stolarz so much leeway with the contact he had with Ridley Gregg in front of the net. And to further that point, Stolarz was asked after the game, what do you make of that interaction, that situation in front of the net? And he came out and said, I didn't even know who it was. It was just, in the moment, just trying to fight for my positioning. Again, I call bullshit. I think you knew exactly who it was. I think, he was standing with his back to you. You knew it was Ridley Gregg, and I think you meant every ounce of what you did to him with the shots to the back, the hack to the leg, and I think it's fucking fantastic. Personally, I actually love the fact that you were going after him in front of the net. And it is what it is. I think that's part of what makes this rivalry and this series so exciting moving forward. So I will give him that. But two former Ottawa Senators did get into the conversation about, the Sens weren't getting the calls. The officials were making it a lopsided game with the way they were managing the game. That being Craig Anderson and Mark Method. And, I expect it from Method because Method had this hatred for Toronto when he played. And, really, I'll sit here and say that I think a lot of his takes are biased, but I just don't agree that, that what he's saying is true in any way. I think officials do manage the game to a certain extent, but again, it comes back to the age-old saying: you cannot rely on officials to win or lose you the game. And frankly, I think Ottawa and the Senators just showed their inexperience in game one. They certainly had a better game in game two. Those arguing that they dominated Toronto in both those games need to, again, give their heads a shake, because outside of shots, Toronto dominated with block shots. Toronto dominated in the face-off circle. Toronto dominated when it came to power plays and power play efficiency and giveaways and takeaways and all that. So all the intangibles, Toronto actually dominated. And sure, you can thank Stolarz for a number of those, but yeah, I think it's when it comes down to it, you can't sit back and say that officiating changed things. Craig Anderson was quoted saying that calls were essentially tilted in one direction. Well, that's such a homerism take, and I you can sit here and say the same about us on the Sticks and the Six podcast. We're a Toronto Maple Leafs podcast. That's our focus. But we go back, listen to every episode, you'll see that we criticize the officiating on a wide scale range, right? It's not just about Toronto. Sure, we get frustrated about calls against Toronto, and that's natural. At the same time, it's not a focus on just incidents against the Maple Leafs, and I think that's where we need to look at things a little bit deeper. But anyways, before we get to the next little bit here, just a quick word from our sponsors over at DraftKings Sportsbook and the Hockey Podcast Network. The NBA 82 game grind is done, and now the real fun begins. The NBA playoffs are here, and it's time for all the high stakes drama, clutch moments, and jaw dropping plays. I cannot wait. If you're looking to make the playoffs even more exciting, DraftKings Sportsbook has you covered as an official sports betting partner of the NBA. Try placing a bet on your favorite player's performance. Will they drop 30 points, 40, or more? It's your call. Here's something special for first-timers. New DraftKings customers bet $5 to get $200 in bonus bets instantly. Make it a playoff run to remember with DraftKings. Download the DraftKings Sportsbook app and use code THPN. That's code THPN for new customers to get $200 in bonus bets when you bet just $5. Only on DraftKings, the crown is yours. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-GAMBLER. In New York, call 877-8-HOPE-NY or text HOPE-NY 467-369. In Connecticut, help is available for problem gambling. Call 888-789-7777 or visit ccpg.org. Please play responsibly on behalf of Boot Hill Casino and Resort, Kansas. 21 plus age and eligibility varies by jurisdiction. Void in Ontario, new customers only. Bonus bets expire 168 hours after issuance. For additional terms and responsible gaming resources, see dkng.co/audio. Well, like I said, I'm going to try and keep this episode short as I'm fighting whatever the hell's going around now. It seems like there's always something going around in this, at least in this household lately. I have, 2 toddlers. I guess that's what kind of comes from it. Anyways, back to Leafs game 2. Outside of shots, the Leafs won in face-off percentage, block shots, giveaways, and takeaways. And here's a staggering number for those who missed the game. Not only did the Leafs have 4 fewer giveaways, but the Leafs out-blocked shots. When it came to block shots, the Leafs had 32 block shots. The Ottawa Senators had just 6. And we all know that that's going to be a difference maker in the in the NHL playoffs. When you can give it your all, it's a team effort. Everyone's laying down the body to block shots. That's the difference maker. That's what'll change games for teams. Obviously, the Sens out-hit the Leafs 44-25. Physicality is a huge part of the game as well. That said, to me, that's a number that you can look at and say, well, that to me means that the Maple Leafs may have possessed the puck a little bit longer than the Ottawa Senators, and that's why there was more hits to be made. Yeah, I'll be honest with you, I'm struggling here to get through this episode. But anyways, the big question now, the Leafs power play went 1-for-1 again tonight. Scored 18 seconds into the power play. Another quick tuck by the team that went to John Tavares from the side of the net. They now have 4 power play goals in the series. They are now 4 for 7 on the power play, which is staggering considering what they've done in the past in playoff series when it comes to the man advantage. They also killed off 2 of their 3 penalties. So for those saying that Ottawa got the shit end of the stick when it came to power plays, this game you cannot say that, albeit there were some missed calls on both sides of the puck. We can argue. Outside of that, Game 3 goes April 24th, which is Thursday. Back in Ottawa, the Leafs will look to take a commanding 3-0 lead in the series in Ottawa. Obviously, we're going to see fans traveling down to the nation's capital as well to make sure that they are heard loud and clear for the Toronto Maple Leafs. But the biggest question coming from all of this, actually, there's going to be a two-part question here, both doing with Stolars. What were your thoughts on the Anthony Stolars and Ridley Grigg altercation out front? Does this continue? Do we see it maybe hit a kind of hit a wall now that both players have engaged and kind of got their shots in, or is this something that's going to continue to happen throughout the series, and that could potentially lead to bigger things in front of Stolar's net? I want to get your opinions. Make sure you comment in the comment section below, or hit us up on X or any of the social medias that we are currently on. The next question, and again, feel free to comment. Feel free to hit us up on X or wherever. Who starts Game 3? You have to imagine, you have to think that it's going to be Anthony Stolars. After all, what he's done over the first two games is nothing less than incredible. He's on a 10-game personal winning streak with a goals against average below 2 and a save percentage well over .920. This is not a shot at Joseph Woll, nor do I think Joseph Woll deserves to sit. At the same time, it's hard to look away and say Anthony Stolars is not going to get the start in Game 3. Once again, in Game 2, Stolars had quite the stat line here, and really has had a great stat line through the first two games. But he played 63 minutes, made 26 saves on 28 shots against, with a .929 save percentage. One of those goals being a power play goal from Brady Tkachuk. You have to imagine that he's going to be the starter, but I do want your take. As always, make sure you do hit subscribe on YouTube. It helps us. It goes a long way. We can continue to push the envelope on this podcast. At the same time, make sure you share it. Make sure you drop a comment below. Let us know what you think. Let us know what your thoughts are on the Game 3 starter. Is this Stolars Ridley Grigg altercation going to continue throughout the series? I want to hear your thoughts. Let us know. Once again, we're going to hit a full episode up tomorrow with Alex Hobson back on the 6 on the 6 podcast for one episode to talk about his new single, which will now be our outro music. We're very excited about that. As always, check out the Hockey Podcast Network as well as DraftKings, SeatGeek, No Name Hockey, and BioSteel. For more, you can check out the description of the episode for all of those promo codes as well. As for the Maple Leafs, once again, they're up 2-0 in their first round series with the Ottawa Senators. The series heads back to Ottawa on Thursday for Game 3. Who's your starter? You got Anthony Stolars, and you got a Cole Joseph Woll. I want to know what your thoughts are below. I want to know what your thoughts on the first two games are below. As always, we'll see you tomorrow for more Sticks in the Six. That's it for Andrew Forbes. Go Leafs, go.